Hi, my name is Mike. Welcome to my vlog about football in general and Burnley FC in particular. A vlog that this week not only had to deal with the game on Saturday, but also on Sunday finished the main story of Red Dead Redemption 2, which means my brain has got a lot to process. And if you don't play video games, you have no idea what that refers to, but don't worry about it. Saturday's game at home to Brentford, a 4-3 loss in extraordinary circumstances. A dramatic game in many ways, a very odd game, a game I still have not worked out whether we deserve to win it, lose it or draw it. Now I'll get onto the VAR stuff and all that at the a bit later on. I'll start off with looking at the lineup. Josh Laurent in, JBL in, Marcus Edwards out, Kyle Walker out. At the moment, it just feels like we're throwing Scrabble tiles up in the air and seeing where they fall. I know Edwards and Walker are out due to injury. Well, I assume they're both out due to injury. Josh Laurent at right wing back. The formation, just a complete mess. And it wasn't a surprise that we were 3-0 down after half an hour, and it could have, perhaps should have been more. The first coming from a corner, headed in by the shortest guy on the pitch, because Maximus Stev got tripped by his own player. While all our players are actually, claiming something went on, no, got tripped by his own player. And then, what's the second one? A through ball to Thiago, who manages to outpace Joe Worrell. My gran on a mobility scooter could outpace Joe Worrell. He scores, and then Brentford have this reputation for being able to score from long throws, and lo and behold, they score from a long throw. Everything was a mess at that point. It was one of the worst performances I've seen in a long, long time. The crowd were right on Scott Parker's back. They were on Alan Pace's back. And to be blunt, they deserved it, or at least Parker deserved it, for what was a horrible setup. We came out so flat yet again. We concede early yet again. I've no idea what he's saying to him when they come out on the pitch. As for Laurent, I don't think I'm alone here when I say that he cost us 500 grand from Stoke. Everyone in the ground knows that he's a limited player, and he's kind of willing him to be better than he is. It's not his fault, really. He was just exposed in a horrible tactical setup. And when you've got a guy who, is limited by Premier League football standards, being stuck in a system that doesn't work, he's going to look bad. And to be fair to the crowd, I think everyone knows that he's doing what he can. He puts in a shift, all that stuff, all the things you want to see. He just doesn't have the quality, and that's not a knock on him, because I think I said it before about other players. You could only be put in a situation to succeed, and he was put in a situation to fail. Brun Larsen was hooked alongside Laurent at half time. I'll come to that, the situation at half time in a sec. But Brun Larsen, there are moments in that first half, especially defending corners, where he's waving over at the set piece coach, who is telling him to be in a certain place, and he's waving that there are guys completely unmarked behind him, and yet he's being told to stand in the wrong place. I know the relationship between JBL and the crowd has broken down, but that is a guy who's just... I still don't know where he's supposed to be playing, because we've played him as centre forward. He's a right winger. He looked good at right wing in front of Walker at the start of the season. Played right wing under Company, played on the wing, Champions League and all that kind of stuff for his country. We've played him as a centre forward, and for all the people who were booing him, the first goal came from JBL actually being out on the wing and crossing it, albeit the left wing, doing the thing that I keep screaming for, going wide and crossing the ball in. And weirdly, Brentford didn't seem to be able to cope with it, because it went all the way through. Laurent picks it up, gives it to Anthony, and we have a huge deflection in. I've talked before about Parker being a lucky manager, and the more and more I watch this, and having watched last year, I stand by that he's a lucky manager, not a good one. I don't give a shit if you say 100 points, blah, 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 blah. What are we at now? 8 out of the last 57? 60? I don't know. Anyway, you want to throw 100 points? 8 out of 57. There you go. Anyway, I think he's a lucky manager as well, because if that goal hadn't gone in, because it went in at the stroke of half-time, I know he got a bad reception going into the half-time team talk, but it could have been 10 times worse than it was. And then we come to actually the end of the game where he's got a built-in excuse. You know, if you notice, no one's actually talking about that first half in any way, shape or form. So anyway, 2 changes at half-time, and then this guy said to me, you know, if we score early, that's going to put the cat among the pigeons. And I'm like, yeah, right. And we do. Again, Hannibal this time on the right-hand side crosses it in. Bit of chaos in the Brentford defence, comes to Anthony, again another deflection in, and suddenly it's 3-2. Wow, this is what can happen when you go down the wing. This is what can happen when you try to attack. I said earlier about the slow starts. There was a line in the Guardian's match report on last week's game against Chelsea, which basically says Parker's tactics are to hold the line for 70 minutes and then try to nick something late. And it's right. It's absolutely right. The idea is to just kill the game until a point where we can begin to maybe nick one. The problem is Sunderland away, West Ham, Chelsea, Brentford, all conceded, Newcastle at home, all conceded in like the first 10 minutes, if not before. And then you're screwed. You're absolutely screwed. We're 3-0 down. Could have been more. At the point, you know, we haven't even reached half an hour, and the plan is still to hold what we've got. It's ridiculous, but anyway. So, Hannibal, who was fantastic. He was man of the match. His work rate, the way he was intercepting stuff was absolutely brilliant. We'll gloss over the fact that he couldn't find a teammate with a pass for 60 minutes, and then suddenly he lofted the most beautiful cross onto Zian Fleming's head, and amazingly it's 3-3. And what did we do then? We sat back. I mean, Brentford literally had a huddle, every player having a huddle to try and gather themselves, to regroup. And that's the point at which you come from 3 down. You've come from 3-1 down in just about 15 minutes. You've got half hour left to play. That's your time to really go for it. And we just basically we're told to sit back and kind of hold what we have for a short while. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I let Brentford back into it a little bit. But then we have the free kick on the left-hand side, the ball down to Anthony. Chaos again. A low cross. We go down the wing first time. I know I bang on about these things. When you go and watch the game, look how many times a player goes on an overlapping run and we don't pass it to him. Simple as that. Anyway, this time we do pass it to him. He puts a cross in. Chaos in the Brentford box, and Fleming puts it in. 4-3, or so we thought. And then VAR jumps in. The semi-automated offside, we're supposed to do this pretty quickly these days. That was another promise broken, but shoulder offside. Now, I'm not going to go into the offside rule or anything like that. Offside is offside, and blah, 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 blah. So there's no point. But anyway, that comes back, and even coming back from 3 down, was the atmosphere in the ground that we could do it? Or was it... Did we believe that we could do it? Did we really roar the team on to we can make this 4, possibly 5? Didn't feel like it. It felt, again, nervy and edgy, and the team were... They were attacking, but not really attacking with, creating chances. There was Uga Chukwu, had that one deflected. I think that was the only chance. I mean, important thing to remember here, we had 3 shots on target. There were only 3 shots on target with legitimate goals. Anyway, and then substitutions. Hannibal gets taken off. Really? Florentino comes on. I like Florentino, but Hannibal was really, really the man of the match. Florentino comes on. He's not going to get you a winner. He's the one to basically try and stop you conceding. And he did all right in his short cameo. But then down the left-hand side. Cross comes over, Damsgaard scores, 93 minutes. Joy in the away end, despair in the home end. That's it, we're buggered. And then the incredible. The ball goes in. Probably, it felt like the last kick of the game. It really felt like that. And it wasn't like we were piling forward to do it either. But anyway, it felt like a last kick of the game. Ball gets knocked down. Comes to Ashley Barnes. Incredibly had so much time and space. And he smashes it into the back of the net. 4-4, 96 minutes gone, whatever. Despair in the Brentford end, joy in the home stands. And then VAR. Now, I've been consistent about my views on VAR. If you want to go back, I originally was a supporter of VAR. Over time, I've come to hate VAR as it is implemented. I talked about it in the Luton one, talked about it in the Sunderland one from last year, where Sunderland missed 2 penalties and it wouldn't have been 2 penalties with VAR and all that kind of thing. And this is just another example of how it ruins football. In terms of the incident itself, it's inconclusive. There's a still that kind of shows that it hits his arm. There is a still that shows it really didn't hit his arm. Who knows? And I'm not going to talk about whether it was or it wasn't, because that's by the by. I mean, you had Mike Dean on Sky Sports immediately going, that's handball. He's the only person to have a conclusive thing because he's Mike fucking Dean. A man who has made a career out of inserting himself into the moments of football. A guy who has spent 20 years denying football fans joy. I mean, a comeback for the ages. A last-minute equaliser and the potential to rule it out. That's the kind of situation where Mike Dean thinks all his Christmases has come at once. He would be right in there with the flourish and the arm and the whistle. And fuck everything else. But anyway, that's Mike Dean. Oh, also he was in charge of implementing VAR. So there you go. But the problem is this. Football is about moments. Football is a game where a moment may happen once or twice in 90 minutes. You live as a fan for those moments. And when Brentford went ahead, there was that moment of despair for us, joy for them. And then it goes down the other end. And we equalise. And there is that moment of joy for us and despair for them. And if the referee on the pitch had blown his whistle and disallowed it there and then, or for handball, offside, whatever, or the assistant ref raised his flag, disallowed it, handball, offside, whatever, the moment changes from joy for us, despair for them, to despair for us, joy for them. But you still have that moment. You still have that part of a game of football that you live for. And instead, we had to sit for 4 and a bit minutes while someone 150 miles away goes through a clipboard of checklists to intervene in the moment. And at the end of it, he rules against. It's like going to watch a stand-up comedian, and the comedian tells the joke and gets to the punchline, and you in the audience are not allowed to laugh until someone puts a light on to say it's okay to do so. I felt for the referee on the pitch, by the way, because 2 things, which are kind of slightly related. One is the idea of referees managing a game, okay? Fouls are fouls depending on context and where they happen. And a referee will give a yellow card when you trip up a player on a breakaway in the centre circle, but he won't do it outside a defensive 18-yard box. That's part of the game. He's there to manage the game a little bit. How many times are you told you can't send him off there, you'll ruin the entertainment spectacle? Ruining the entertainment spectacle? What the fuck was that? So referees aren't allowed to ruin the entertainment spectacle. The referees should use common sense. Well, not even common sense. The referees should manage the game to make sure that the entertainment product is the winner in the end. Well, what the fuck was that at the end then? Because that wasn't entertainment for anybody. People in the ground, people outside the ground watching on TV. It wasn't dramatic. It took 4.5 minutes. And the second thing is this. It was the rules. Okay, let's say it was a handball. It was the rules, and that's the rule. Accidental handball, doesn't matter whether it's handball or not. Accidental or not. It's the rules. Okay, VAR steps into the rules. Okay. Are we going to chalk off Brentford's first goal from the corner then? Because VAR should look at that, and if you want to find a reason to chalk that goal off, you will fucking find it. Any corner, you will find a reason to disallow that goal. Whether it's Brentford, whether it's us. I'm not saying, by the way, it should have been. What I'm saying is, you will be able to find a reason to do it. But you can't do that. Because of the entertainment spectacle. And that's what sticks in the craw. Everyone, if we are in the business of entertainment, everyone in that ground got entertained at the end. We had our moment. We had the thing you pay the money to go to see. And it gets taken away by a fucking auditor. And instead of walking out of the turf, either full of joy that somehow we pulled off a comeback to end all comebacks, and going, God, Parker's a lucky manager, and all this kind of stuff, or having the despair of, shit, we almost did it. Instead, every single conversation on the way out of the turf that I heard was fucking VAR. VAR again. Forget clear and obvious. Forget everything else, the rule book. What is the point anymore? VAR kills moments, and VAR is killing football. It's not about what you deserve. I've said that before. Football doesn't give you what you deserve. It's the only game that doesn't give you what you deserve. Because it's beautifully random. But it does give you what you earn. The Clarets had earned that one. And the crowd had earned that ending. And someone with a fucking clipboard, like I say, and a checklist 150 miles away, who doesn't have to face the wrath of the crowd, by the way, like the officials do, gets to dictate the whole thing. And the irony is, it's the same referee who there was a last-minute penalty at Man United as well. He, in my opinion, made the right decision that time as well for the game. But he was overruled again by some officious twat with a fucking clipboard. And we got to pay money for this. And they're talking about expanding it. And it's killing the game. It's killing the entertainment spectacle. It's killing football for people who watch the games in the flesh. It's probably lovely for people sitting at home. And the funny thing is, a lot of the comments about, well, it's in the rules and blah, 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 that I've read online have been from people who never attend football matches. And it's great drama for Sky Sports. It's like a WWE promo at the best of times on Sky Sports. It's drama, VAR check, building, the tension, the music, and all that kind of stuff. But it's killing the game of football in the ground. And like I say, we come away not talking about the match anymore. But fucking VAR. And I was going to say I don't know what the solution is. I do know what the solution is. The solution is to get rid of VAR, but on one proviso. Managers and clubs are not allowed to complain about officiating making small mistakes. Because That's just a fucking excuse. Oh, the linesman given offside. If that linesman hadn't given that offside against Jadon Anstey, would you have blamed him? I wouldn't. It's just too quick. It was the other side of the pitch. And it was literally a shoulder, a shirt sleeve. That's the sort of thing where you just go, yeah, okay, fair enough. And I say that even if it had gone against us, it's like, geez, that's just one of those hairline things. It happens in a game of football. So get rid of VAR and stop managers from using officiating as an excuse for their own failings. Because players are allowed to make mistakes, get away with it. Managers are allowed to make mistakes and get away with it. But officials are not. And did Sam Barrett make a mistake with the Ashley Barnes handball? I have no idea. One still says yes, one still says no. Where are we going? What are we doing? Oh well. See, that's the thing. You walk away from the game, instead of on a high or a low, you just go, oh well. And if the reaction to football is, oh well, what the fuck are we doing it for? Up the Clarets.